Okay, good afternoon. It is the middle of the day, June 13th, 2019. Just had a Michigan Forage Council Board of Directors meeting today. Talked to guys around the state and discussed the forage situation in the Midwest and the Great Lakes area. And I think we may be heading, at least in my state and Ohio, into a forage crisis. There is just a lack of hay being put up the last several years. We've been impeded with drought and poor hay yields, late spring frosts that have killed back hay. And then guys in Ohio and Michigan are talking about 70 to 80% loss of winter kill on alfalfa. A lot of it from ice sheeting over the winter. So, what we should have is high yields right now because of the wet weather. We had a lot of winter kill. And then not everybody's experienced a lot of winter kill. Some people are getting tremendous yields, but we have a real delayed harvest. We're into mid-June now, and almost hardly anybody in my state has baled any dry hay yet. The dairy farmers, for the most part, are all done chopping, so they did get their first cut up. But when we're talking the small square bale market and the round bale market, going out to the horse market and the beef cattle producers that are looking for dry hay, there's going to be possibly a huge shortage. One thing that might lead to that shortage is a loss of a cutting already. I mean, are we going to get a third cut now when you're this far north? So, me, for example, I got 300 acres of hay to get going on, and I haven't even cut yet. So the end of my first cutting is probably going to be in August. So if I'm going to even get a second cutting in some of my fields, we're going to be looking at having to have an Indian summer fall. So, we're going to be in a quandary of another forage shortage, which is going to be good if you have hay to sell. Okay. And so the hay market has been, I could say one thing, the hay market in my area, I'm in Michigan. I'm going to say statewide, I'm going to go out on a limb and say if you're in Michigan, northern Ohio, the hay market's been strong for 4, 5, 6 years. I'm not seeing any of that anymore where, you just got hay left over through the winter. It gets to be late winter and you're dumping hay on the market to get rid of it. I'm not seeing that at all. Matter of fact, most people are having a hard time getting enough surplus to store hay through the winter, okay? A lot of us are storing round bales, but hardly anybody I know is really putting any volume of small squares in the barn. Number one, there just hasn't been the yield out there, okay? Now, we could be seeing more people getting into the forage industry, though. We're seeing a lot of dairy farms go out of business. We're seeing some people that are conventional cash crop farmers buying hay equipment. I was talking to a guy, Gary Carmichael, who's got a big commercial hay business up in Everett, Michigan. He's talking to equipment sellers. The dealerships are selling a lot of hay equipment right now. So, one thing we typically can see is these dairy farms get out of business and they got a lot of cash on hand. They got a lot of hardware to go out there and do some serious hay. So that's our thing. The market could crash if you get too many people into the market just producing hay. Or are we seeing people that just don't want to get into it because it's hard work? Unless you're going to spend a lot of money and mechanize, with accumulators and stacker wagons, there's a lot of people just don't really want to do it. And there's a little bit of an art and science to it, getting it dry, getting it put up right. So we, I think, have some uncertainty in this hay market, maybe in the future in a couple of years. But I think for this year, my prediction is hay's going to be strong. If we will eventually get it harvested, it does seem like sometime years ago we didn't really start baling hay till mid to late June. I always do consider if I can get in the field in May and get a few days of harvest. All right, had a phone call, got interrupted, but so I'm out on my back deck of my house here, and you know, if you look, it's just nothing but rain. And we got a good day tomorrow. We got a chance of rain every day for the next 7 days. There was a local guy here. Yeah, he's an old-time farmer, pretty sharp guy. They baled 1,700 bales last Saturday. He tedded the hay twice. I don't own a tedder. Most of the time, the economics on tedder do not pay off. Although if you have a tedder right now, I'm sure you're saying, no, that's BS. Tedders pay off. But yeah, you got to go buy one. You got to go over the field a bunch. You can decrease crop quality, lose hay biomass. So I'm not rushing out buying a tedder. That ain't going to happen. Yeah, and then I saw another guy. He had brand new Massey inline baler. Love to have one of them. New version of my Heston small square baler. And he had it hooked up to a bale bandit. Those things are like 90,000 bucks. He was baling yesterday. Now, they had gotten rained on for like 3 or 4 days. But I didn't see any dust flying off that baler. He had somebody raking in the field with him. Hay looked wet. So I'm guessing there's a lot of wet hay in people's barn right now. That's another thing. A lot of people are just going to push it and say, well, you got to get it cut. Let me tell you, you never need to get the hay cut if the weather ain't good. Over-matured dry hay trumps wet, ruined hay. At least in my book, I don't have that luxury of losing much hay. So, and you ought to see, you know, it's not like we're going to need a lot of hay to feed cattle. Right now, it's 55 degrees, by the way, right now, on June 13th. Day after my birthday. Turned 52 years old yesterday, so I had a birthday. And the cool season grasses, your brome, your timothy, orchard grass, awesome weather. Oh, this is prime cool season grass growing weather. My pastures look like the cows. You can't even tell cows have grazed any of it. So, which, you know, pastures here have been overgrazed for the last 3 or 4 years. So this is nice. But anyways, thanks for tuning in. Any thoughts? Appreciate it.